Hey, let's go live. Let's just go live. Alright. Hang on one sec, guys. Hope everybody's doing okay. What's up, YouTube? Welcome to Play It Paint It Live. Hope you guys are having a good Sunday evening. And here we go with another one of these. Tonight we're going to be prepping some Malifaux Nephilim keyword here. So, doing some priming right now. We are going to spend a little bit of time here early on with the airbrush, so hope that doesn't bother you too much. But yeah, fun little demon crew. Oh, looks like this guy's got he's got a splitting headache. Alright, hold on. Yeah, looks like the hounds. I didn't assemble these hounds, so they're a little. They're not the best right now. So we'll try to address that though. Okay. So hang on one sec. I'm gonna clear out this white primer from the airbrush because this is the chunkiest white primer. It's always one of the most hazardous things to put in your airbrush is the white primer, but we seem to be behaving tonight, so that's good. But yeah, trying to keep the airbrush relatively clean. Okay, blast that through. Alright guys, let me just shut a door here real quick. But yeah, we're gonna spend a little bit of time prepping, like getting some of these colors down on these things. And if you have any questions about Malifaux or you just want to talk, yeah, we just want all the chat visible. We want all the chat visible, guys. So yeah, that's the plan for tonight. If you're just joining us, let us know what you're painting, what you should be painting. If you're watching this on playback, hi from the past. Alright, so we're going to work on the generic Nephilim skin. And the way I do this is I spray a couple of colors here. And I start with a little Gilliman flesh. Okay. And I'm actually going to spray all of these models using the Gilliman flesh because it's kind of useful. Okay, and you want to build this color kind of lightly, right? The lighter this goes down, the better. So, right. These little terratots can be a pain in the butt to build, but you'll see that at least getting the primary skin color down is not the worst thing in the world. Okay, so let's start getting these down. Get down, do you? Alright. Basically little impy boys. Right. This guy's going to be a little bit more tan than his brother. Fine. And then we got this one here. You can see it's pretty quick when you got a teeny little model, right? There's really not much to these. Okay, let's paint their big brothers. And this is just kind of the way I do Nephilim in general, is I like to start off with like an actual like human-looking skin tone, and then play around with, you know, get the actual tone that I want from there. Look how this guy's just straight up holding a human head. So that'll be nice and fun. Fun little detail to include once we're painting these. Alright, a little Lilitu. Fantastic model, this Lilitu. Not the most fun to put together, right? A couple of pieces here just kind of hanging on by a thread. That's okay. Okay. Let's paint Lilu. Yes, I know their skin is supposed to be red, but that's okay. Finally, these little hounds here actually are going to have a little more red in their coloration. Right. The hounds will look a little different than the rest of the Nephilim here. Super good stuff, though. All right. All right, looking pretty good. Looking pretty good, guys. Let's get a little more color there on Lilu. Okay. All right, not bad. Okay, so now we're gonna tone. We're gonna now tone the Nephilim skin. Okay. A few different ways you could do this. You could use inks to do this. You could use a wash to do this. One thing you can do, since I'm already toning with contrast paints, is I might as well just use more contrast paint to tone this the way I like. Okay, so that's what we gonna do. So we're gonna take this color here, Magos Purple, which is kind of terrible when used as a contrast paint, but kind of great when you airbrush it. I noticed that about contrast paints. Is some of the worst contrast paints are great in the airbrush, and this is one of them because it's a nice natural. It just seems to want to be a tint rather than a contrast paint. Okay, you'll see what I mean here in a minute. All right, so. So we're going to hit this purple there. Alright, so I've got some of that skin tone and some of that purple tone. And it's looking pretty good like that. Alright, looks pretty good. Let's go like this. Alright. Pretty good. Let's get the biggest one here. Right. Just a great color. Like, you can see what we were going for here. tone-wise. Okay. Keep it rocking. Really liking that. That's a really nice color. Okay. Finally for homeboy here. Right? Quicken. That's pretty quick demon flesh we got going on. Did not require much to get us there. Still got a couple squirts left here for Lilitu. Right, Lilitu and Lilu. Okay, let's do Lilu. Yeah, you can kind of see what it's doing. We got a little water mixed in with this. You gotta be careful about the pooling. Just kind of brush everything down from there. Okay, looking good. Okay, and then for the hounds, I think what we want to do is just introduce a touch, and I mean a touch of red. So I probably do not want to use a contrast paint in this case, because the red contrast paints are usually excellent contrast paints. They're a little too rich for what I'm going for here. But I do want to have just a little hints of red in this bad boy. So let's see what we got. I mean, this light clay might be good, or light rust might be good. I'm thinking light rust probably the best. Light rust, or I could even go with a red, with a red toner like that, right? Especially if I built it the right way. Right, a little red toner might be kind of nice. And these are nice because they build up kind of slowly. That might be too red, but hey, let's try it on one of these woofs. Try it on a woof. Worst that can happen, we tone it back down, right? Well, I like it already. Right? Telling you, those ammo MIG washes are pretty fire. That's pretty fire. Right? I'm pretty happy with that. I could totally rock that. Nice tone. Right? They have this nice kind of reddish tone to them. It's nice, dude. It's nice, dude. Alright. I like that a lot. And this guy here is like really light, so he's gonna kind of look like a hamburger meat compared to the other ones. Yeah. He definitely does kind of look like hamburger meat compared to the other ones. Alright. There we go. Good. Okay. Not bad, right? Working on these, but working on these a la batch mode. Overall, pretty good. Pretty good, guys. I'm going to give that a minute to dry. The problem I have when I'm blocking with airbrush like this is I get a little overconfident with the airbrush's ability to do the entire job. So I just keep airbrushing until whatever I think is supposed to happen happens, and it just doesn't work that way. So anyway, so we're giving these a minute to dry since we just hit them with a lot of color. I'm just looking, right now I'm looking at eyes. Is there anything I need to do from the skin tone standpoint? Skin tones look pretty good. Like, that looks pretty good, right? I can wash that later if I want. Like, if I really want deeper tones in here, I can wash this, but I don't know how, I don't think I'm gonna need much. And then, you know, Lilu and Lilitu actually are probably going to be the ones that require the most amount of actual painting. So they're going to finish up last, and the Nephilim and the Hounds, obviously, they're going to finish up. They're going to finish up first. All right. Let me take a sip of my drink. Oh, that's a terrible drink. Why did I? Why did I order that? The terrible drink. What's the matter? What's the matter? All right. Okay, so we're talking about Malifaux. We're talking about Malifaux. Hold on. We'll stop. We're talking about Malifaux. We're talking about one of the things that is I consider kind of a downside to the game, but I still have kind of mixed feelings on, right? And that is the length of game, right? The length of game. Why do I have mixed? This is not a game that if you just told me, hey, you could be in for a 3-hour game, depending on complexity of crew, on the semi-regular, right? Because you can't control the other person's player experience or skill. You can't control the complexity of the master they select. And, you know, I just think you're going to realistically run into these 3-hour games. And you kind of have to be mentally prepared to handle that. To handle a 3-hour game if you're going to play Malifaux. But the goal should be not to play a 3-hour game. The goal should be to play a 1.5 to 2-hour game. And you're working your way towards that goal. You may not get there this particular game, but you hopefully will get there in one of these games at some point in the foreseeable future. Where's my... Okay. So yeah, that's what we're talking about right now. And we're also talking about some creative ways to combat that. the potential for a 3-hour game. And then for me, there's the question of, well, why does this game enjoy at least semi-popularity? Right? Is it just because Malifaux has been around for like 10 or 11 years? Is that the only reason why it's still, there's still a lot of interest in Malifaux compared to a lot of like third-party smaller games? There is clearly a hole in this beast's head, and I'm not sure what caused it. But yeah, it's struggling there. Anyway, yeah. So, right, because if you ask me, we talk about ideal game all the time, right? And one of the things I point out is like, man, I would love to get a nice little tactical experience out of a game, a nice fun little tactical experience where you get to line up cool looking miniatures, you get to engage in something kind of tactical, you have an objective that you're trying to meet on the board for that particular game, and that you can build a small group of models to try to help you accomplish that goal, and then you play the game through and you're done in an hour, right? It's decided in an hour. Those are some of the things that I say that I like for my ideal game. But when it comes to Malifaux, it breaks the time limit or the time expectations that I have for a good game, in my opinion, by quite a wide margin, right? We're talking 3-hour game. And why is a 3-hour skirmish game? Why is a 3-hour skirmish game accepted among the, we'll say, accepted amongst kind of the more mainstream miniature gamers, right? Malifaux is just a more popular game, say, than Aristea. Aristea, your games are finished in like 45 minutes or an hour. And yeah, you only get 4 miniatures, but it's like 4 really nice character miniatures. So there's not that much reason to be upset playing Aristea. And yet, Malifaux, people still be wanting to play Malifaux. Is the time expectation I have on games, does it line up with what a lot of other miniature game consumers want? And it sounds like no. It sounds like people are willing to pay the price to play a longer game of Malifaux than they are to just, go for a more simplified game and only have to play, 60 to 90 minutes of a simpler game. And why? Okay, if that's the case, why? Why would someone that's like, say, not really into miniature games or third-party skirmish games, why would they be okay with a 3-hour expectation, we'll call it? A 3-hour expectation for game length. Well, I think that kind of has to do more to do with like the immersion aspects of the game, right? In Malifaux, right? Maybe maybe that game you're playing is going to take up most of your evening, but maybe you really like the honeypot crew and you really just enjoy seeing that their mechanic happen in front of you real time and play around that. Maybe that's a good enough time, to spend your evening. And I think a lot of people do that, and they do kind of feel that way, that yeah, this is gonna work for me, right? I'm pretty happy with playing Malifaux for 3 hours. For me, I don't enjoy a 3-hour game. I just don't. It's for me, when you get to the end of that 3 hours, win or lose, you don't feel satisfied. Not me. I feel like I should have played a couple of other games, right? I should be playing like in 3 hours. I should be playing 90 minutes. Hey, Forge of Wonders. Simply because the semi-secret scheme pool and the interaction is extremely engaging. Yeah, good answer. Good answer. Yeah, because the game is just flat out interesting, right? It's just flat out interesting, right? I started playing Jacob Lynch most recently, right? Honeypot. And Honeypot is a semi-complex crew. You have to be aware of all of the different interactions with auras. There's so many auras in that crew. There's a deck manipulation mechanic, a rig the deck mechanic that you have to watch for. And then there's brilliance that can happen in so many different ways that you have to be paying attention to all the card flips and all that good stuff. So there's a lot going on there. That said, and in my opinion, they're not the strongest crew in the game. They have their mechanic, which is very distinctive, but that doesn't necessarily mean that their mechanic actually leads to them getting a lot of victories. And so I kind of acknowledge that. Like, okay, they have a good mechanic, don't get me wrong, but it's not the kind of mechanic that's like gonna, help you achieve too many specific things on the, strategy scheme side of things. So, but that said, like I said, I really just love the mechanics of that crew, and I love playing that crew. And no, probably not going to win a whole lot of games with that crew compared to the other crews that I also enjoy playing, that I feel like get the job done in more efficient manners. But the playstyle is interesting enough for me to continue to play it and just, hopefully try to understand it a little bit better, and maybe do get to that point where I feel like my chances of winning with them are going to be pretty good. Trying to achieve your goals while figuring out the opponent is trying to, what the opponent is trying, yeah, these are all really good, points. It just, like I said, like I could play that brilliance mechanic for an entire game and lose the game, but still feel like I had a really great time because I get to hand out drugs for you know what I mean? Get to just hand out drugs. That's fun. Did I win the game? No, but it's okay because I enjoyed how I spent my time, and that's kind of what matters, right? And I was saying with Malifaux, one of the things that you also can really just enjoy is if you really like the lore or the background of your character or even the aesthetic of your master, you can just enjoy playing the master. Just like, I just really like the way, Iron Sides or whatever. I like the aesthetics of that crew, and I'm going to put them on the board and just enjoy them for what they are. So, yeah, really good points. Thank you, Forge of Wonders. But yeah. So while we're talking this, what are your go-to masters or your go-to keywords for Malifaux? I'm assuming you have some because you have good answers to the question that I'm asking. I mean, that's what it's about. Play the thing that's going to be super fun for you, in my opinion. And, and yeah, if you don't win the game, so what? You got to do the cool thing that crew does. Right? Even, no matter what, the game is good at allowing you to do the cool thing that your crew does. Usually. So I'm going to make myself a little, ourselves a little ink glaze here. to further get this, get these miniatures looking good. All right, I want another tonal layer to this kind of purplish skin that I'm going with. You do 10T, 7 of the 8 masters. Feeling lighting up a model with 6 brilliance like a nuclear silo feels great. Even, yeah, it's super funny. So you run almost all of the 10T masters. What's the, who's the master that you don't run? And is there like a specific reason, or maybe you just haven't gotten to collecting that keyword yet? I'm looking to pick up Yuko at some point. I would say, you know, my main faction is Arcanus, so I still, you know, I got mad love for Colette and Karis and Marcus and Rasputina. Those are kind of my 10Ts. I mean my Arcanus. And Ramos when I'm allowed to play him. Still love Ramos. Alright. He does look like he's about to say something. You don't have Mei Feng. She really has a little synergy with the rest. Most Foundries, Arcanist, or Bayou. Yeah. I'll say this. Mei Feng's mechanic, I think, is the least impressive of the masters that I've run. I actually really like Mei Feng in Foundry because the models are cool. I play her in Arcanus, or I used to. I just haven't found her mechanic to be that great, if I'm being honest. It's a nice mobility mechanic, but I don't feel like the crew has enough going for it, if that makes sense. It just doesn't have enough going for it to really, you know, really exploit the ride the rails. Because you have to physically, you know, drop the marker that you're going to go to, I think they need a way to broadcast those markers a little deeper in field to help them get down to areas that they can't normally reach. Because if they're riding the rails there, that means one of their models has already reached that point. Right? So riding the rails a lot of times can be a way to get back from some deep part of the field that you were in. Yeah, no, I'm working on your stuff, Nelson. I didn't get to meet up with Chris today, so hey, let's go ahead and paint up some Nephilim while we're here, right? While we're here, let's work on some Nephilim. To your point about 3-hour games, is it that you don't usually have that time to spare, or you rather play multi-games? Kind of both. I mean, I'm starting to get really spoiled with the 1 hour games, 1 hour less games, and when I say 1 hour less, You know, some of the games that you can play in an hour or less would be like Aristea, Batman, Way of the Fighter. You know, there's even some Guild Ball games you can get in for under an hour, especially if you're just playing goal scoring teams. So, you know, it's nice to be able to get in a quick tactical experience. So we've been kind of spoiled with that, with the 1 hour game, you know, idea. And it's just great for, you know, those times where it's like, oh, I have time to play a game during lunch, or, you know, we don't have until like later in the day to meet up, so we better just play a faster game. You know, when Malifaux was the only game I played, I used to get those games in for pretty fast. Like an hour would be and this is first edition Malifaux, right? I could get in a first edition Malifaux game in about an hour. The metal golem can push. Yeah, he can, but I forget. Like, it's still not the most. It's still, in my opinion, it's just not the. It's not the most impressive game mechanic versus what so many other crews have available to them as their core mechanic. Right? Plus, you can just take stuff to just wipe out the scrap markers or use them for your own guys. Toying with Watchers, moving the marker. That's cool. But Mayfang can't take Watchers, right? I don't think so. Are they Foundry? Let's see. Spoiled in the perfect world, I think, since I came out in X-Wing, which is perfect cost and time. Yeah, right now, I still think the best miniature game experience from an objective standpoint, top to bottom, is Aristea. Because you're painting 4 models, but you're painting 4 character models, right? You're playing a board game, but has a lot of miniature game mechanics to it, right? All of the cards explain exactly what the character does. It's very simple. There's a lot of symbology, more like board game symbology, that helps you understand and pick up the game faster. And the games are an hour, right? So a lot of good, convenient things. It's also small board, so you can play it almost anywhere. So it's got, objectively, it's got a lot of things that I think should make it, you know, a more popular game. And yet, here we are. A Hoffman crew. Yeah, I don't know. Of everything I've seen so far, the Ride the Rails mechanic has been the least impressive to me. You know, whether or not you look at Mayfang in Thunders or in Arcanus, I just think that both of those factions have options that are going to do the job better than her. But I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying that's my opinion. And subject to change, right? If I were to learn the crew and something really clicks down well in my brain, then sure. Where? Central Pink. What makes a great game are the stories you recall after? Definitely. Absolutely. I agree with that, but I'm also looking at this in a practical sense, right? What's a good, right? Almost like a top-down sense, agnostic of the, um, of the immersive elements of the game. I'm just looking at like, right, number of pieces, how fun is the, is your hobby experience with the game? Uh, how fast can you complete a game? Do you need a lot of table space? Do you need uh, a lot to buy a lot of accessories? That sort of thing. So from that aspect, from that kind of cold objective aspect, my argument is Aristea does that. Does all of the, it kind of meets the criteria. It doesn't make it my favorite game. It doesn't even do that. Even though I can say objectively, this is the one that hits that hits all the spots that it's supposed to hit. That said, I still love playing Guild Ball. Still love playing all of these other games. And for me, Malifaux I think the appeal is exactly what we're talking about here. That the narrative elements of the game are interesting. The mechanics are incredibly interesting, and they're unlike anything else you'll ever play on tabletop. And so those are hard. Those are some really appealing points that can make this game people's favorite game. I think I could at some point, this could be my favorite game if it really kind of was front and center to me. And I'll put it to you this way. If we had the community here in Southern California, at least, or that size of community, then this would be my main game again. It would eclipse Guild Ball. It would eclipse Batman and all those other games, and this would be my main game because there's a community to support. There's a lot of fun people, and yeah, this would eclipse all of those other games, and it's just super fun to play. I also think that because Malifaux kind of has, I feel like Malifaux has an edge with your role players, like role players that are looking to get into miniature games. I would say role players, women, and players that are players that may be a little bit more crossover type. It's got an edge in appeal to that crowd, and that's nothing to shirk either, right? That's a good solid appeal base, right? And you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna turn this little baby demon thing into a big old full-blown demon, right? People like that. I have Jack the Ripper and a bunch of zombie hookers. People like that, right? This lady has a bone whip, and she's a demon. Okay, people like that. It's a much more interesting sell when you're looking at a board, especially just the aesthetics of Malifaux. You're looking at if you're looking at a bog board with a bunch of drunk gremlins on it, versus a bunch of robots in Hoffman, like people are gonna know what the hell is that. They're gonna go right. If you're looking at 40K, I know I always pick on 40K, but if you're looking at 40K and you're like, oh, okay, those are those buff guys, and they're kind of dark and gothic, and they're shooting at those buff guys, also very dark and gothic. Like, okay, yeah, I get it. War. I get it, right? If you're looking at a Malifaux board, you're like, what the hell is it? There's a bunch of showgirl-looking women running around. None of them appear to have weapons except for one. And they're just running around the board. Like, what kind of game is this, right? When you explain to people, like, no, I mean, the traditional war game is you build your army. You build your army. You put it on the board. You move it forward, and you try to remove the other guy's pieces and keep as many of yours on the board as possible. That's your old school traditional war game. And the most normie layman out there is going to understand that concept and go, oh yeah, it's a war game. Okay, yeah, I don't know. I might like it, I might not like. I don't know. I'm not really into war. I don't know. But if you tell them, like, okay, like, what's something weird that you like, and they would go, I don't know. I always thought it was cool, like those horror movies that have evil babies or dolls, and you're like, oh yeah, I got a crew for that. Right? Or if you said, oh man, I really like ninjas. Yep, we got that. Oh man, westerns are awesome. Yep, got it. Really love robots. Got it. Oh man, those undead zombie movies, got them. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the appeal. And not only that, it's not just that the game checks off that they've got it. It's more than that. It's the game, when you do pick up your robot crew or your western crew or your whatever it is you're going to play, they've designed the play style to make you feel like that's what you're actually playing. Okay? And you know, when we look at other games that have, you know, a broad array of playstyles, every miniatures game, the manufacturer will say, "Oh, we've got such a broad array of playstyles. You could pick pretty much anything you like, whatever style is. You're gonna find something for you." They always say that. Oh, you're gonna find something you like, right? And you're like, okay. Warcry. What? Yeah, like you basically just beating on each other, and then you just do them in very slightly different ways. Especially from the Malifaux viewpoint, you're like, that's not really a different playstyle, guy. when you look at those other, especially like I was saying, the more standard war games, you're like, from the Malifaux, if you've got that Malifaux lens, if you played something really, really, really weird, and you come back and you go, yeah, that's not really a different playstyle, buddy. That's what you get, right? I will say, okay, as a massive Guild Ball fan, I'll tell you, like, yeah, there's a lot of different guilds, and you can play them. They're very different in how they play. But when I say very different playstyle in Guild Ball, I cannot make that statement with the Malifaux lens on. I just wouldn't be able to say it with a straight face. Yeah, in Guild Ball, you can play really weird playstyles like, Morticians, or the Alchemists have an unusual playstyle. But all of those guilds have enough in common, and the goals in the game are common enough to where you can't really say, I'm playing, zombie hookers versus cowboys. Like, you're not. That ain't gonna happen. All right, so I use the zombie hooker ninjas analogy all the time when teaching Game of Curious. Yeah, it's. And I know from, back in the day, we had a community of people, and for many of those people, Malifaux was the first and only miniatures game that they'd play. The reason is because it's like, oh, I got to play my Ice Queen Cannibal Cult, right? No other game has anything even remotely close to that, so I'm just gonna play Malifaux. I've heard that many times. In fact, I knew a player. She played Lilith. She played the old Nephilim master, and she loved growing the little babies into the big. And she was like, "Oh, the good boy," and she would turn them into the big, mature Nephilim eventually. And she didn't win a lot of games doing that because you kind of have to focus down and make that happen. But she loved it. She loved it. And it was like, oh, did you want to look at these other games? And she's like, okay, well, what other games can I grow little demon babies into giant full-size winged demon beasts. And you go, okay, good point. Let's play some more Malifaux. That's literally how that works most of the time, right? So anyway, let's go ahead. Yeah, I think let's give these like a wash. We're gonna give them like an ink. I'm gonna use an ink and a glaze to wash these down. To wash this down. Where's my one of my all-time favorite inks? The babies to full mature takes 4 growth tokens, which requires 4. Yeah, yes. It can be very difficult to do. But this was first edition. I think it's still similar in terms of difficulty to do that. But she would do it, and many times it would cost her the game because you're concentrating on doing that. But she didn't care, right? And that's kind of the point, right? If I'm playing Lynch, I'm like, okay, I should go over there and try to interact with that thing, but I could give this guy drugs. I could give him drugs right now. I should just do that. Because that's funny. And I make that choice. Sometimes I want to score a victory point. Sometimes I want to hang out drugs. That's just how that's just what we do. Yeah, no, yeah, you're right, Chris. Obviously you could do that, but I mean, even then, it still takes time to do that. You still, let's see. I want to go, I think this glaze medium has been working out okay. I really like the Vallejo glaze medium, but this is going to be alright. Actually, I should be using, I really like thinning inks with airbrush flow improver. It's really nice too. Right? It helps everything kind of disperse the way I need it to disperse. So, yeah, yeah, like I said, if we had a nice little active community behind the game, I could see myself pushing this to the forefront of what I want to play all the time. And don't get me wrong, I still love my Batmans and I still love all those other, my Aristea and all those other games, but that would, activity is a big plus in my book, and that's one of the reasons why people, I know a fair few people who actually think 40K is a trash game but continue to play it because there's an active community, right? Let's just admit that that's a pretty significant factor in whether or not we're playing some of these games. Is, okay, is there a community behind it? In my case, a lot of games I play, there isn't a community without some active involvement, right? And that's just something that I accept when I'm playing. When I decide that I'm going to pick up this game and start playing it, is I accept some partial responsibility in helping, trying to grow, you know, some form of local player base so that I can get in games of it, right? You can see that purple ink glaze really going to ham up the purple a little bit more on this young Nephilim right here. What's everybody else working on tonight? I like that, right? Just gives it, really helping that purple to show up here. Just got to keep it really thin. Yeah, Totem is so weak, even been killed. Alright. Conversely, there are those other games that look like they have a reasonably good following to them. But for me, I'm not interested enough in playing those games to join that, that already existing community. Which I'm not sure if maybe that's a preference I have, or if there's just if it's more of like a coincidence of, hey, these games with the popular IP and the more simplistic approach, these are going to be more popular. They're going to have, right, there's plenty of people that already want to play those games. So I don't know if that's, for me, I don't know if I just look at that and go, oh, okay, I don't want to, do I just not want to play those games because there's already a ready-made community for them, which is going to include, some of those player types that I just would rather not game with, or is it I don't like the game because it's got that ready, out of the box community interest, or is it because I want slightly more interesting games, and the majority, like the larger miniature gaming crowds, at least in this area, aren't interested in those types of games. Tech question. Is it possible to insert a pic into YouTube chats? No. I don't even know if you can put links in YouTube chat. I think I can. I can put a link in YouTube chat, but I don't think the viewers can. But if you're like working on something, you can shoot me like a link on Instagram or on my Facebook page or something, and I can post a link in here. These little teratots, man. 9 pieces each. They're 9 pieces. These tiny little models, right? But when painting them, they're still pretty simple in terms of their basic design. Now, I'm wondering if I do this with Lilu and Lilitu, or if I take a different approach. Because I kind of want Lilu and Lilitu to look a little more people-like. Not much more than these guys. Good news is, I think I got them to match the rest of the stuff that I've already painted pretty well. Should match pretty well. I forgot how I did the basing on those other ones, though. I'll figure that out. Well, yeah, I prefer these, like the purplish demons as opposed to the blue one, the blue art that they have. Finished a huckster. Now doing your value sketching on Desper and 2 Rough Riders. That's cool. Okay. Well, we were still talking about how do you digest a game down into smaller chunks for people that are either learning, that want to learn, that want to kind of learn in layers and build to the complexity that they need to understand their crew, or um, maybe just a fast format game, right? Kind of think of it like playing a little henchman hardcore or something like that, right? Like, okay, we got an hour. I want to flip some cards. I don't want to play the full 3-hour game. What's another format we can use? And when we first started playing M3 locally here, I want to say about a year ago, maybe even more than a year ago at this point. Totally forgot about COVID. We were doing 35 Soulstone games. And those games were running about 2 hours. And most people were pretty happy with it, it seemed like. 35 was nice. You don't get the toys, right? You have to make tough calls on your crew building. But for the most part, it seemed like 35 was kind of a nice place to be. And that harkens back to like the old school, when we first just started playing Malifaux. In first edition, 35 was considered a normal size game. That was the standard in V1. It wasn't until M2E that 50 became the standard, and a lot of us old school guys didn't care for that as much anyway, because it's like, okay, but I mean, yeah, we get it. You get more toys and it adds more complexity to your game. You get a deeper playstyle, yada yada. But I don't know. Our preferences were just different. We were interested in that back in the day. Let me yeah, I still have some 35 Soulstone crews in my saved on my app. Let's see. I want to look at the studio art for those hounds. Corrupted hound. So they're just kind of brownish. They're just kind of brownish gray. So, I don't know. I can use like a dirtier wash on these, right? I can use let's see, I can use dirt on those. They'll probably look pretty good with some dirt on them. Let's put some dirt on them. Right. There we go. Look a little dirtier. Yeah, these things These things are going to go pretty quick. Not much, not a whole lot to do on these little houndy boys. Houndy boys. Just make sure I'm not pulling anywhere. There you go. You can always have deeper complexity playstyle to point increase with any game. Yeah, I think though, because Malifaux was, M3E was designed to be played at 50 soulstones, there's probably more baked in to the complexity. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I don't know. We were really liking 35. But I would say you should still, the goal should still be to try to build up to where you're comfortable playing a 50 soulstone crew. Teach new folk 25 stones, choose a fixed set of schemes. Takes away much. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. We've been using the doubles rush format, right? Because I want to play it at LVO. So we've been trying it out, and it's actually kind of nice for what it is, right? Nice little sampler of what your master does. Okay, wash these guys down, and then we'll let them dry. Right? Okay, just make sure we're not pulling. Yeah, so we've been using that 10 soulstone format with plant explosives and reckoning and no schemes, just to give people an understanding of how, like, basic mechanics, how those work. All right, let's get like some kind of green down for now on the grass. Oh, not yet. I haven't broke the news to her yet. I don't know what I'm gonna do Sunday. If I'm being honest with you, I don't know why. I don't have a good reason to be there Sunday. So, but if it means you guys will go, we just got to figure out what we want to do on Sunday, I guess. I personally like the idea of getting out there, enjoying Friday and Saturday, and being home Sunday to rest and have a little time with my family. But like I said, I'm not gonna really go to many gaming conventions. I'm not planning to in the next year, so gotta make them count. What's up, Sean? How's it going, man? I guess I should look at the schedule and see if there's anything I'd be interested in doing on Sunday. Okay. So just starting to get some of this down. Oh, did I? Oh yeah, I did wash him. Okay. I guess I'll just keep going while I'm waiting for more stuff to dry on these. Hell yeah, we could even just pop open the schedule and look while we're all here. You can all look at the LVO schedule. I don't remember. I think I went with just kind of like a grassy, right? On the rest of your Nephilim stuff, I think I just went with like a kind of like a grassy texturized base. I think so. It should be painting. It's okay. My days at work have been very long recently, and stuff I do at home has been on the increase, like just cleaning up and, you know, taking care of my boys and all that good stuff. So I'm not always ready for painting at the end of the night, right? I haven't, like, I remember back in the day, man, I would paint every night, just make sure, right? It was just a regular part of my day. Now I'm like often, more often I should say, really fatigued, and it's like, okay, I'm better off just sleeping tonight so that I can be more productive tomorrow. I don't know how true that is, if I'm being honest with you. There's still, right? Because staying active gives you energy. Right? So, like, getting myself up in the morning to jog, I know now from experience that it gives me energy if I can manage to do it. But I still don't manage to do it all the time. I still lose to that voice sometimes. It's telling me, just go back to sleep, dude. Don't worry about it. You've earned this. You've been good with the exercise stuff. You've earned this. All right. Anyway. Struggle. It's a struggle every morning. Burning me. Yeah, nah, it's fine. This, if I don't have something, right, this applies a healthy amount of stress. If it was like, if I had like 5 projects in front of me, that would be unhealthy type of stress. But if it's one that's like gets me up and says, okay, you really want to paint tonight, get caught up. To me, that's a healthy amount of stress, and I'm happy to take that on. But yeah, I think successful commission painting has more to do with, you know, how to manage your soul. Because painting is fun, don't get me wrong, painting is fun, but commission painters, and this is something I work on with other commission painters that I help, you know, like Lex, I tell her, like, don't, I know you're gonna want to, you know, make a fair bit, you want this to be profitable when you do it. Don't bite off too much at once or you'll just quit immediately. Maybe in Las Vegas, 3 days of Malifaux, you're concerned you might take an extra day or two? Yeah. So you're gonna play, so you're playing in the Friday casual stuff, which is what I'm playing in, and then so you're gonna play in the 2-day GT. Well, good luck in the GT, man. I just don't think I could. I'm not ready to do that. Let's speaking of which, let's look at the schedule, guys. And I'll share my screen here too. All right. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Since pretty much everything that we're waiting on right now is all got to dry. So. Okay, so let me move this here, and you guys can, here, don't look at my stuff, nosy people. All right. Okay, here, let's put that there. There we go. Oh, 2 loyal commissioners, don't give me time. That's good. Okay. All right. Gaming. That's what we do. Other social events. Nah. I guess you... Wait. Not Games Workshop events. Let's look at the Sunday schedule. Because we're trying to figure out... Should I be there Sunday? Okay, let's see. We got Age of Smegma Championship, no. Age of Smell, Blood Bowl, meh. Bolt Action Tournament Day 2. Flames of War Tournament Day 2. Hobby Classes, me. Let's see. Horus Heresy 30K tournament. No. GW, no. Malifaux GT Day 2. Starfleet Battles. Warcaster. More GW. X-Wing Finals. Star Wars Legion doubles. Hey, why didn't you, Nelson, you and Jason can play there. Play the Star Wars Legion doubles on Sunday. Right? See, there's literally nothing I would play on Sunday. I see no reason for me to be there Sunday. That's just me, guys. I want Jason and Nelson to go. I do want you guys to go. But day 3 to me just looks like a nah. Right? Go home and be with family. That's what this is telling me. Go home and be with family. Day 3. Anyway. Right? You guys can play in this one. Play in the Star Wars Legion doubles. I've never viewed this file. Let's view the file. Here. Star Wars Legion doubles. Welcome to Star Wars. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Registration at 8 a.m. This is shooting day. Yes. Opening remarks, round 1. Yeah, this goes... Oh, it goes 2 rounds until complete. So you might be there at like 8 p.m. if a lot of people show up for that. Yeah. Alright. Okay. Let's go. I want to see what else is going on Friday. Okay. Batman. I want to look at the Batman pack. This is Friday Batman. There's a Friday Batman event. Friday will be a 200 rep, 1,000 funding, 3-round tourney. No. Saturday will be a 30 player. 30 players! That's kind of dope, dude. 30 players for Batman? Dope. Standard bat match. Okay, tournament ticket will cover one or both tournaments. Okay, so you could. And look at, check out homeboy like Lance here, just rocking it all by himself, man. Good on you, dude. Okay, so here's the Saturday times. Round 1 Saturdays doesn't start until 11:30. That's nice, man. That gives you time in the morning to run around and check out the booths and all the other stuff. So that's why I'm saying, like, you could do this. You could do this in 2 days. You can do LVO in 2 days. You can do most of these gaming conventions in 2 days. The Sunday is really there for when you're hungover. I mean, that's honestly, that's why I just, out of experience, I know you want to do something pretty cool and cash Friday. Saturday is going to be the thing that you actually do. And then Sunday, just get out. I even like leaving Saturday night because I'm old. I like that. But you see this? So Saturday, the awards, he's expecting to, this is crazy, but I mean, Batman is such a fast game. He's expecting to start at 11:30 and be done by 5:30. That's fire. That is hot fire. 4 rounds of gaming. Does he not have a break? He don't have a break. Oh, wait. Sorry. Round 1 starts at 10, so maybe you don't get to see. But see, you're over at 5:30. I don't know. Yeah, having done 2-day event LVO. Agree, Chris. But you see what I'm saying? Like, you could, this is the Saturday schedule. You're just going to go 10 to 5:30. That's not bad at all, man. But I do not see, oh, here you have a break here from 1:15 to 2:15. So you got lunch here after round 2. It's not bad, dude. Not bad. Not bad. All right, let's look at some Malifaux. All right. The Friday Fun Pass. I better buy mine. I forgot I gotta buy my Friday Fun Pass. Okay. Friday Fun Pass. Okay. Double or Nothing Team Tourney. Work together with your partner in a micro crew environment to claim 10 soulstone crew using Double Rush, right? That's what we've been playing. Super fun. You'll go for BMG or MCP. Oh, yeah, I guess there is. Is there a 1-day MCP on Saturday? So registration goes from 9 to 10. Then so the Double or Nothing team tournament goes from 10 to 5:30. So think about the rounds as they were laid out for Batman. So you're probably looking at like 3 to 4 rounds. Yeah. Malifaux 2v. Yeah. Yeah, see, yeah, that's fun. Doubles Malifaux is fun. Okay. Okay, so it's 3, so you're looking at 3 2-hour rounds. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Let's see. You'll do our best to get solo players matched with a teammate. So I want to run this event. I want to run something identical to this on August 7th at Comic Quest. Okay. So I want to run this exact thing. So that way it'll be fun. We'll get reps in. I can make this same claim here. It would be nice to pair up with have a partner when you sign up, and also encourage experienced players to try to sign up with new players or inexperienced players. I think that's ideal. But yeah, they're looking at 3 2-hour rounds, and they're starting at 10 and going to 5:30. So if we did this at CQ, we would start at 11 and go, to about 6. I like that. I like that. Okay. Let's go to Saturday real quick. It's 10 soul stones. So Sean, if you want, we can play that format tomorrow. It's a little difficult with only 2 players, but you'll at least get an understanding of what it is, and you get to. I really like 10 soul stones. I had a lot of fun with just this is what my master and a totem and like one other model. This is the cool stuff you can do with just that. That's kind of cool. Let's see. MCP. Let's look at the MCP Saturday in case Nelson doesn't play Batman with us. Is this a 1 day? Oh, Tyson's hosting that. Okay. Tyson's going to have some ridiculous terrain. Tyson is dope, man. He worked with Gale at Kingdom Con and always had like some of the best Warm Hordes tables you've ever seen in your life. So, dope. Standard Saturday, which will be a qualifier for Sunday finals. So that's kind of cool too. So I like this. I like this because you can play. This isn't a set 2-day event. You can play as a casual in the Saturday event and be like, okay, I didn't qualify for the Sunday event. Cool. You know what I'm saying? You can even drop out and say like, oh, I did really good Saturday, well, but I don't want to play in the finals. I prefer this setup where you can play. It's technically a 2-day tournament. It's a tournament. It's a standard Saturday and a final Sunday, and I tried to run Guild Ball that way too. It's like, okay, the Sunday is actually the final. Okay, so let's see. So you got Chris. If we can get Sean, Jason, that's 5 people. Anyways, so this one, the Saturday event starts at 10, and they're not sure when. They don't have an end time. It's just going to depend on how many people they have for MCP. But that might be your Saturday event that you play, right? You might say, okay, I'm going to play MCP instead of Batman. That's fine. Cool. For locals, yeah. But yeah, I gotta put the event. I gotta formalize the event for local, right? For local, because if you go, right, because we already have it. We already have that day. Saturday, August 7th, we already have it lined up there. What do we got? What do we have open in July? July 25th we have open, but I wouldn't do that. The 11th is open. Do we want to host some? No, that's pretty tight actually. That's only 2 weeks, but still, if we wanted to host our Estea tournament on the 11th, maybe we could do that. We could do that, or we could do, or we could just have where we could just play Defiance All right. Anyways, I like that we're now actively talking about going to LVO. Okay, this is good. This is good progress. All right. Now, if I play Batman, I need to figure out, do I stay court or do I learn something new that no one sees? Well, I've got my Riddler crew on order, and I am planning, my plan is to play Riddler at LVO. That's subject to change though, right? If I bought Cobra Cult tomorrow, and I said, oh man, I love my Cobra Cult. Oh, now we're just watching let's put this back here. If I just, you got 6 months basically. You can say, whoops, wrong one. You can say, well, I'm gonna play this other thing. By the time November, December rolls around, you could really be like, oh man, I really, really, really love Two-Face. I'm going to play Two-Face in the Batman tournament. Right? So, even though, like, my plan is to play Riddler, and plus new crews may be coming out. We may be like, oh, Watchmen actually got a deck, or Doom Patrol actually got a deck. You're jealous. Yeah. Yeah, we're pretty fortunate. I mean, truth be told here, this group here in our chat, we've been actively gaming for months. For a long time now. We were gaming outside the shop, and it just became a regular thing. I have a portable wargaming table from Urban Mats, right? It's a 4x6 table. It's a 4x6 folding table that I throw in the car, and we set it up on the weekends, and we just set it up right outside the shop, and we played outside the shop. I was hosting. I hosted during the pandemic, like during the lockdown. I hosted a Guild Ball tournament at the shop. Right? Like we've been super fortunate, right? We really didn't lose all. I mean, if you were following me and hanging out with me, you really have not lost much gaming at all. We made it happen. We went to Gamecraft. We went, we played outside CQ. I even have this area. Me and Yvonne were gonna play at this area like outside, down here, like near where I live, that was just totally secluded and just had a table. There's just a fixed table out in the middle of nowhere. And it was like perfect for that. Like, okay, yeah. So we did pretty well. Let's see. Gary, trying to keep up with comments here. Defiance, yep. Okay, so I won't schedule an event for July then, guys. We'll just play. We'll just do our thing in July. No one has seen Cobra. I know. We did the math, and it actually makes sense for me to go buy that Cobra set that's at CQ. It really does, and I think I'm just gonna do it. I'll probably just buy it tomorrow, Sean. Unless you're gonna buy it. Unless you or Nelson comes back and says, I'm gonna buy that set, then I won't touch it. Otherwise, I may just buy it. Okay. Let's see. Felt guilty for leaving the Swordman's behind pilot. Actually got shot a kill. What? Couldn't rescue the green. Okay. That's all Defiant stuff. The best was when Bo-Katan went blind, and we thought we were gonna lose the scenario. And it just came down to a single die roll, right? It was just it just was a single die roll to see if blind Bo-Katan could kill some dog, right? Cobra. But would you guys get mad if I painted that Cobra cult to look like Cobra from G.I. Joe, where they're like dark blue? Or, uh, what are those? The Bat Troopers from G.I. Joe? Hold on. I'm gonna put I'm gonna put this back up. Right? Hold on. Right? G.I. Joe. B-A-T. Right? The Bat Troopers. You're gonna buy Cobra? Okay. So have a look at these, right? So images. These are the Bat Troopers. Okay? So they're black and yellow. Sometimes they're black and red. They don't look that different from the Batman Cobra cult, right? I got so many tabs. Cobra. Look, they're green in this. Wait. Where's the night models? Man, they're so cool. I mean, that guy's basically Serpentor. Okay, but like, okay. So that guy, you'd be hype. So if I painted him dark blue, because if you're gonna follow the Cobra officer uniform, this would be dark blue. I don't know how well I could do the Cobra emblem, but it would be so damn cool. Right? Right? That would be pretty hype. That's the only way to paint that. I don't know when I would get. Well, I mean, my painting schedule is pretty tight, but I can. You know me. If I'm hype enough about something, I just make it happen. I'd have to also print out their cards. Not a big deal. Cool. Cobra. But yeah, they do. It seems kind of cool. I looked at their objective deck. Seems kind of cool. Like those guys. Cobra. Right? That's cool. Okay. Now we're just browsing images. Wait. Let's go. Night models. Here we go. Ah, that's so cool. Right? You got kind of like Serpentor here. I could just keep him in this exact thing and he just looks like Serpentor anyway. And you kind of have like a Baroness type, but you also have the one with the not the Nagas. Well, you have these guys. Those guys are awesome. And then you have her. She's cool. Like, she could be... I'd actually paint her a little bit more like Baroness. Which would be kind of cool. You could even do a head swap if I wanted to. I could like do a head swap and do like a Baroness long-haired type model. Right? That's so cool. Then this guy's just awesome. This guy would be the snake Cobra Commander when Serpentor turns him into like a snake. And then you just get a swarm of cobras. I don't know, it's pretty dope. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. You can tag out. All right, man. Thanks for joining us on chat. Have a good night. Anyway, I'm kind of hype over that. That's pretty dope. Where's the window for this? Did I just... Is this it? Yeah, that's it. Okay. So I can't really... I mean, I could paint a little bit more, but you can kind of see where these are going. These will be done fairly quickly. Maybe I could start. No, I gotta pick up Chris's stuff after. Chris, what? You said I was painting BMG. What BMG stuff am I painting? Or are we just painting Cobra? No, just kidding. Anyway, all right, guys. Well, it's almost 11. I might as well just call it here because I'm gonna get up early, try to do my jog thing. But yeah, these things are moving along, right? Not bad for a start. The hounds are almost done, believe it or not. But yeah, we'll just kick through these pretty quick, and we'll catch you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good night, guys.